What's up, everybody? Here's another breakdown of my Craftsman USA tool haul, this time from the Buren Drive-in and swap meet. Pre-quarantine, of course. Got a nice set of metric wrenches here. Nice set of metric sockets for my collection. 1/2 inch. Really nice ratchet, one of my favorites. And an awesome wrench from the early 30s. Got lots and lots of stuff to get through in this video, so let's break it down right after this. All right, let's jump right in to the Craftsman 1/2 inch round head fine tooth ratchet. This is my favorite type of ratchet from Craftsman. This one has the patent pending mark, so I'm thinking it's right from around 1970. B stamp, of course. Pretty clean, good shape. I'll clean it up even more, just like what I did with this guy. This one has the patent marks on it. It says 1971. So I think when it was pending, it was right before that, 69, 70. So these things had a run all the way up until 2008, which is about 38 years. Not bad. These guys will last forever. Heavy duty. I've heard some guys say they've never cleaned these. So this one is here to last. Next up is a 1/2 inch drive slide bar handle, 15 inches. Bent like crazy, but I love these things, right? This is the logo with the pointed A. They've used this one between 1945 and 1970. Nice long run for the V stamp. But this one is in pretty bad shape, as you can see. Completely jammed up in the L position. But, you know, I had this one that a friend gave me, and it was in even worse shape. This one is older. It's got the underline logo, but I got this one totally rusted and totally bent up. So, not too bad. I think I'll have fun working on this one just the same. Then we have an open-end wrench all the way back to the early 30s. This is when Craftsman didn't really have a stylized logo yet. So they used this regular font for the logo with Vanadium steel. Same with the logo on the head up here, made in USA. On the other side we have 1033-C. And this, of course, is for the 15/16 of an inch on the one end and 1 inch on the other. And the V owner's mark there, of course. Pretty cool stuff. So I have other wrenches from this time period, of course. These are my favorite. This is before the logos were even made, the underlying logo. And these ones are all nice and used up and greasy. So I like them just like that. I have another wrench of the same size, just a little bit later, probably in the mid-30s, because it has that underlying logo in Vanadium. So these things are close to identical. It's 1033-C, no dash, but same length. The oldest one, when I just got, a little bit thinner on the heads and definitely thinner on the handle. But it's interesting to think about how they first made this one and then made some improvements, made them a little bit beefier in the next round. I'll try to go oldest to newest on these wrenches. So this one's next. 12-point short box end wrench, underline logo. So this one placed in between 42 and 45 during the wartime. Got that same logo on both sides for your convenience. Both are a little off-centered, no big deal. This one's got the C1 stamp indicating that it's from the wartime. And this one's thinned out on this side, a little modified, right? You can see it's thicker on that side, but they had to grind this down to get it into that tight spot. But that's all right, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. And who would have thought someone would be talking about it 80 years later? And I have another open end wrench from that 1945 to 1970 time period. It's called the V stamp from More Drop Forge. This is when they pretty much took over. The pointed A logo. And I have another one, of course, from around the same time period. I think from the beginning of that time period. Same size wrench, but thinner handle. This one, I believe, was in the very beginning of that time period, so right from the mid-40s. Notice the one on top in the USA doesn't have that period. Pretty interesting. This is the only one that I saw in my collection with that error. If you call it an error, I don't know. Can't imagine it was on purpose, but these are very similar. I think this one is a little older. I got this one very dirty, of course. Cleaned it up. This was a pretty easy cleanup job on the wire wheel, but fun nonetheless. But this one, if you look closely, has a kind of a taller A. Those points on the A are a little taller. The C isn't as round. It's a little sharp around those corners. And the S is kind of unique. Look at the difference. This logo, it's very subtle, but just look at the A's. You can see how it's kind of a taller pitch on the A. The S is a little different and the C is a little different. That's how you can tell them apart. I think the one I just got is somewhere a little later in that time period between 45 and 70. But finding these little subtle clues are very interesting to me. Love it. So we have a 12-point box end wrench, also in that time period, probably on the later end. It's got the pointed A logo, but it's a lot cleaner. I mean, it's dirty, of course, it's been used, but this one is in really good shape. But check out that S in the USA on this one. This is the only one that I saw with the Craftsman style S. Good shape otherwise. It's got some owner mark there, CE something something. That's all right. And here's another Stubby wrench. This is a short 12-point combination wrench, 14 millimeter. On the newer side, right? This is the logo from the mid-80s till present. But I don't have many of these, but it looks like I'm starting a new collection now. That's all right. And hey, reminder, if you're liking these videos, don't forget to click the thumbs up icon and subscribe, share it. Really appreciate that. And believe it or not, this is my first wrench from the professional series. 12 millimeter, 12-point combination wrench, full polish, long pattern. Got that sideways K mark, meaning that SK was the maker of this. Got an RS owner's mark there, of course. It's got the thicker handle. You know, there are some that have thinner handles, but this one's a little beefier. Kind of flares out at the head there, indicating that it's from SK. That's pretty nice. I guess I am starting another collection. And then I have a set of metric wrenches. Not so old, but still in really good shape. I Got a 17 millimeter, 15, 14, 13, and 10. Most of these I don't have in my collection, or I have the non-USA versions, so I'm glad to replace them with the USA versions. All of them are the V, upside down V stamp. I think later, probably in the 90s or even 2000s. But this is the only 6-point wrench that I have. All the others are 12. Believe it or not, out of all my wrenches, it's the only 6-point combination wrench that I have. Looks like I'm running out of room here. Guess I could have done a better job at laying these out. Oh well. Next up, 7-inch slip joint angle nose gripping pliers. The old catalogs tout these as, quote, combination plier and wrench. It's got 3 adjustments there. Very cool. It's got that stupid laser etched logo in there. That just rubs right off over time. I hate that. Really neat pattern on the handles though. I love that. The jaws, they've seen better days. You might be able to file those down a little bit, clean them up. It's got an O mark on the handle. Still a cool little set of pliers. I dig these. Now, as you've seen in my previous videos, I have a hard time passing up pliers. I don't know why, but I love these. These are both 7-inch slip joint pliers, both from Western Forge. Just dirty, grimy. I'll clean them right up. This one is WFB, so I don't think it's that old, but still really cool. Just dirty. I'll have fun cleaning this one up. Of course, I have another set that I've worked on already in the past, and they clean up really nicely, as you can see. I don't do this to all my tools to go to this extent. I usually like to leave them rough and dirty and just clean the mechanics, but sometimes I'll go to the extent. It's fun. The second set I found is this style. I really like this style. It's a nice design. Seems pretty solid. Just a little surface rust, that'll come right off. But I really like these, they're really sturdy. I have the bigger brother that I've cleaned up a little bit. Really solid, but again, with the stupid laser etched logo, that really bothers me so much. I hate that. Otherwise, these will clean up real nicely. Be glad to put this in my toolbox. And I was happy to find this little guy. 6-foot black and white flexible rule tape measure. Pretty cool. Not sure of the date. I think it's from the 60s, maybe 70s. But it's really cool. It's got this 90-degree square. A little bent, you know, not that big of a deal for 90 degrees, but close enough, right? I'm going to try to figure out how to take this apart and restore it. Looks super cool. Even though some of the numbers are totally worn off. Found some replacement blades on eBay for 15 to 20 bucks. Apparently they were expecting the numbers to wear off pretty easily, so they made a lot of replacement parts. But it should be fun. Apparently there are also 8 and 10-foot versions that I'll have to look out for. I have the same problem with screwdrivers. Just can't pass them up, especially if they're in good shape. But these are both 6-inch slotted screwdrivers in really good shape. Not very old, but they have a lot of character, right? That Craftsman logo, of course. 1/4-inch, made in USA on both. Top one is Western Forge. AE puts it at around 2016, so not old at all. Practically new. The bottom one is Pratt Reed Q puts it at around 2002. Definitely used a lot more. You can see that blue paint is totally worn off. I have the same problem with Phillips screwdrivers, of course. These are both 4-inch. Not very old also, but in decent shape. Just have a hard time passing them up. One on the bottom has an interesting drill hole in the handle. Both say P2 made in USA. Actually, the bottom one says number 2. And then this one is Pratt Reed with a P. Puts it around 2001. This one's really hard to make out, but it's also Pratt Reed. Let's see. At just the right angle, you can see the PR on the right and the T. That puts it around 2005. So not very old, but it's all yellowed, probably from sitting out in the sun or something. And finally, got a lot of sockets that I need for my collection. 1/2 inch, metric, so I'm going to blow through these. 24mm GK. A lot of them are in the GKs or G1s, G2s. 23, 22. These, I have some of them already, but most of these I need for my collection. Pretty much fills out my 1/2 inch metric set, which is really cool. Been working on that for a while. It's interesting to see some of the differences. Like this one has the knurling at the top, VV, where the other ones have the knurling at the bottom. This one doesn't have any at all, EE. This one is older, V stamp, both 14mm, so I'll probably keep the V, like those better. Got one 7/16 6-point socket, and of course the 10mm. You've probably been looking for this since you lost it. Everyone loses the 10mm. This one's 1/4 inch deep socket. Good to have, even if it's extra, but you always lose these. It's special. And I found a universal joint, totally rusted, but totally cool. It's 3/8 inch. I don't know why, I just can't pass these up. I love cleaning them up, making them new again. But this one is pretty frozen, right? The top end moves a little bit, but the bottom end, not at all, completely locked up. So I'll get that working again. It's a lot of fun. Plus I get to gladly replace this one from Taiwan. Very cheaply made. So, you know where this is going, right? Right into the trash. So glad to replace it with something that's made here in the US. And then finally, I have 3/8 inch, 1/4 inch drive socket adapter, H stamp. Not that big of a deal, but it's just nice to have Craftsman version of it. And that's it for this tool haul. Wow, that was a lot. But if you liked it, give it the thumbs up icon. Would appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out toolsandtees.com, where you'll find lots and lots of non-Craftsman tools for sale and t-shirts. But hey, thanks for sticking around with me. Really appreciate it. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Later.